Good morning to you. Guys, this is Montani Barbell, and this is a long overdue video about good mornings. Alright, so the good morning is a fantastic movement to build up your spinal erectors, your glutes, your hamstrings, right? Your whole posterior chain. It's a very versatile movement. It can be used for max effort, supplemental, or even accessory. There's a wide variety of good mornings that you can do. We're not going to cover the whole list of them in this video. We're only going to talk about some main pointers. But you're pretty much limited by your imagination with this movement. Okay, so why do good mornings? Good mornings are a fantastic posterior chain developer, and they're also chaos training. Okay, so if you ever fall out of the groove on the squat, you're going to wind up getting into like a good morning position. Okay, if you're not strong enough in your spinal erectors and your glutes, you won't be able to recover the movement. The good morning will help train you to where if everything does get kind of fucked, you can drive back into it, finish the lift. Okay. So like I said during the introduction that good mornings will build your posterior chain. This is because it is a hip hinge movement. Okay. No matter what variation you're doing, whether it be max effort or supplemental or accessory, no matter if you're going with an arch back or a rounded back or a close stance or a wide stance, it's all going to begin with the hip hinge. Okay. So again, we're gonna push our hips back, and depending on what kind of part of your back you want to target, whether you want to go down all the way to where you're rounding, or whether you're keeping an arched back and doing more shallow movement, you're still gonna push the hips back. Okay, push hips back, and then you're gonna drive them forward while driving your traps into the bar. Okay, so push back. Application as a max effort movement. If we're doing standard good mornings, I really prefer to keep the triples. Sometimes if I'm having a good day or I'm just being stubborn, I'll load it up and I'll do a single. This is like the only max effort movement that I like triples with. For suspended, I like to do singles. Like what's the point of doing multiple reps on something that's a primarily concentric movement, right? Because you're gonna wind up building up momentum and shit. It's a hell of a strain lift. Like it's like the Paul Anderson squat in that it's gonna teach you how to strain, right? So you really, you got to bring your guts on those days. And again, like the good morning, either one of them, you're not gonna have as much weight on the bars which you would a squat. So it's another example of an underloading type movement where you're using less weight and putting just the same, if not more, effort into the movement itself. As a supplemental movement, I like your standard 5 sets of 5s on it. As an accessory with like banded good mornings, man, push the reps hard, like 10, 15, 20, like whatever you feel like doing that day. Like if you're really trying to add some more posterior chain volume, crank it up. Okay, close stance variations. Okay, starting off, we got your classic conventional stance with barbell. Again, these you can do max effort, supplemental, accessory, it doesn't matter, whatever tickles your fancy. Here I'm trying to keep a more arched lower back. Again, you can let yourself roll over more if you want. Hey, there's an old shot of me at super training with my guys, Big Bill and Greg Buffington, doing the camber bar, 4 plates for single, no belt, back when I was a big fatty. Here it is with the safety bar. Sorry, this video quality is pretty shitty. My lights went out that day, so I was kind of like shooting in the fucking dark. But safety bar, close stance, same thing, trying to push your hips back, It's really difficult with the safety bar because it's really trying to round you over. As you can see, my upper back is pretty rounded here. I'm trying to keep my low back locked in. Here with the camber bar, this is a supplemental. I think I'll probably do 5s here. But again, see, I like the camber bar. You get to push over further. I feel like just because of the nature of the bar. Conventional stance. I think the state of my shins was probably after deadlifting. Again, same thing though. Push your hips back. Try to keep your back or your low back arched as you can, unless you're intentionally rounding it that day. Again, with the safety bar. Whenever I use the safety bar, I always now try to pull the handles down, so that attributes more, again to the rounding of the upper back. So again, like if you get thrown out of position with fucking straight bar, if you've done these movements, it's going to help you counter back into it and have the strength to raise the bar even though it fell out of the groove. Close stance suspended. I fucking love suspended good mornings. I especially love them with chains. Here I'm just doing straight bar weight with the safety bar. I'm not as big of a fan of using the safety bar in this movement because it's really fucking trying to chop your head off, right? But as you can see, the torso's bent over, the bar is sitting on the straps just like it would the Anderson squat. The difference being is what the hips are high. I'm not dipping them down in and cheating the movement. Really concentrate on locking your lower back in, and then, dude, you just gotta give it hell. Keep pushing until the bar locks out. Like, this is a fucking great straining movement, and it's an ass kicker. Wide stance variations. Okay, with the wide stance, you're really going to wind up smoking the low back and the glutes. I'm a big fan of these. This movement, it's a lot more shallow than its counterpart with the close stance. You really want to keep the low back arched hard, so you're really just like letting your chest get in front of your toes, and then you bring the movement back. Here's back in the day at super trading with the camber bar. Again, I'm not wearing a belt here. I'm hella fat. Wide stance suspended. I don't like these as much as the close stance counterpart. And yeah, like if I'm going to take a wide stance and do something suspended, I'd rather just do a straight up Anderson squat, so I can draw my hips down and work on that. But here it's nice because it's like, oh, okay, I got pitched out of the groove, like if I was squatting. So that was with the straight bar and chains. Here I got the safety bar, straight weight. Dude, you just got to arch and strain on this movement. That's a really great, just straining movement. Some other variations. This is a good morning into a box squat. I've done max effort with this. This video is a supplemental. Again, like this is a cool one to just train like your squat technique and your cueing and feel the difference between what it's like to be in a good morning position and to be in a proper squatting position. If you're having trouble with your hips rising first in the squat and you're getting dumped forward and shit, this is a good one to throw into your training either as a supplemental or as a max effort to get that technique grinded in. Again, so I take my squat stance, I good morning over as far as I can, and then once you get into that good morning position, you just drop your hips down onto the box. So you feel that difference between the squatting position and the good morning position. So push back. Once you get bent over, then you drop into the squat. You can do these with either a wide or a close stance. Me, since I am such a wide stance squatter, I just wanted to dig into that technique more on this day. So I used the wide stance. Seated good morning. Basically, you sit on a box or you sit on the bench and you just round over. Put your feet way out in front of the whatever you're sitting on, and you roll over and then you arch hard to bring it back up. This is one I don't really advocate as a max effort movement. I would prefer to see it as a supplemental or accessory. Kind of the max effort version I prefer would be like the Anderson squat off the box. Banded good mornings. You're gonna stand on the band, okay? Take whichever stance that you're gonna take with it. So just for this example, I'm gonna be more conventional stance with, okay? Roll over, put the band around your neck, arch your back, come up. Hips back, arch into it. Okay, from the side. Water stance. Water stance from the side. Okay, here's my most recent max effort good morning. This day I used the wide stance, classical style with the safety bar. As you see, I'm pulling the yokes down. I've got my stance, just pushing my hips back, keeping my low back arched as possible. Okay. I do triples for the majority of this workout. I do a few sets of just the bar. Again, I'm pushing over, trying to keep that low back arch, keeping the yokes pulled down. Jump to a plate, and heads up, low back's arched, big belly full of air, drive the hips back, keep the low back arched, drive the hips forward, bring the bar back up. Jump up by a quarter. Good. The yokes are pulled down. Head's pulled back into the bar. Arch low back. Spread the floor. Push the hips back. Drive forward. Push it back. Drive forward. Open 2 plates. Yeah, and as you see, I'm still not wearing a belt. I really like to push these, really any of my max effort movements as hard as I can until, I absolutely have to put the belt on. Jump up by a quarter. Again, same thing, you're still gonna see me doing triples here. Big air, head pulls back. As you can see, now that the bar weight's increased, it's getting harder for me to hold my upper back position, so I'm starting to round at the upper back. I'm still keeping my lower back locked in pretty good. 3 plates. Now we got the belt on. This is my last triple of the day. Push my hips back. Yeah, you see. Yeah, whenever it jumps to the side camera here, you're going to see my back position a lot better. But again, like you see, my shins are still pretty vertical. I'm pushing my hips back. I'm really arching and driving into the bar, right? but my head's getting pushed down because the yoke bar is fucking rolling me over. Right, and so now you'll see how my upper back is rounded, but my lower back stays locked in. And this is how I deadlift anyway, so it's kind of reinforcing that. But again, this is what the safety bar is going to do. It's going to round your shit over. All right. Here I jump to a quarter. The technical shit's still the same. Knees are out. Low back arch. Trying to draw my head into the bar. We only take it to a single here because I'm starting to feel like my form's compromised, but I still have more strength, so I keep working it up. But again, you see how the position of the bar rounds my upper back. I'm still actively arching my lower back, push my hips back. Okay, and here's my last set, 4 plates. This is pretty hard on the old T-spine. Again, this fucking safety bar is trying to kill me. I push my hips back as far as I can. You see my head drop. I need to do a better job of keeping my chin raised. Same thing, when I squat, right? Like, I got to keep that thing up so I don't fucking fall forward and get in that shitty good morning position. But again, like, I know that if I do get stuck in that shitty position, because I do these good mornings, I can finish the movement. All right, so closing thoughts. Do your good mornings, guys. Like, throw them in there more than what you think you need them. Build those erectors up. That's like probably the most important muscle group in powerlifting, really. Like, if you think about it, is your back, right? Because your squats depend on it, your deadlifts depend on it, and then even your bench press, like, that's what supports you, right? Try them out as max effort, try them out as supplemental, try them out as accessory, right? Just do them any way you can, as often as you can. So do your good mornings, get your erector strong, and as always, rock on, discipline and determination.